To welcome you all, and we respect and acknowledge and honour the Aboriginal people of Australia's Northern Territory and recognise the continuation and culture connection to the lands, water and country, and we pay our respects to the elders past, present and future. Thank you for joining the Brolga Awards webinar. We are pleased to share some further tips and advice to assist you in submitting a strong award submission. We understand from past entrants they utilise, entering the Brolga Awards as an opportunity to assess the performance of your business, review past efforts and plan for the future. Our role in Tourist Mentee as the Brolga's team is to support you, and all nominees will have had a copy of an entrance guide or 2 or 3 or 4, which again, sorry, I'm trying to change slides. Again, most of you I've also had some, one-on-one meetings with, and again, as the human behind those entrance guides, etc., always appreciate, any other suggestions or anything else that, could help. And therefore, the other thing as well is just remembering that it has lots and lots of ideas, examples, layouts and image suggestions, and not all of them actually fit your business. So some of them you do have to sort of say, okay, well, that suits my business, others don't. So please utilise the guides to their full extent. I am actually otherwise pleased to welcome Jodie Grossfeld from AIT Kings, who as multiple year entrants of the Brolga Awards and winners, I would like to present Jodie.
Thanks, Chrissy. Okay, so when I got asked to present on this, I thought I would take a bit of a lens and go Brolga's through our lens at AIT Kings. So I think when I reflect, we entered the first awards about 12 years ago, and I remember sitting there probably like you all are thinking, oh my God, how are we going to do this? We've got all this information, where to start, what to do. And it's quite daunting, right? We're sitting there trying to pull it all together. But then I also remember unexpectedly our name being announced and being a winner, and that sheer delight and excitement that not only I felt, but also the team. And that was sort of a turning point for us. And at that point in time, we thought, okay, we're going to enter these awards each and every year. It's a great opportunity for us as a business, but a great opportunity for our team. So I guess then you look at why. So why did we decide to enter? What are some reasons why we continue to enter each year, particularly over some challenging times? But for us, the why has always been an opportunity to review our business. It gives us a chance to stop each and every year and go, okay, we set these goals, we had these deliverables. Have we actually achieved what we said we were going to do? It also gives us an opportunity to really drive innovation. We often get caught up in the day-to-day of our business and think, okay, how can we actually drive our business forward? And so having those questions around innovation actually makes us stop and think. Each and every year, some tips for moving forward is we create a folder at the start of the year, and as we go through the year, we start to put little bits of information. So when it comes to writing the submissions, we're not left going, oh, what have we done over the last year? Where do we start? The other thing for us is it's a really great opportunity to celebrate our successes. We don't take stock often of what we have achieved, how far we might have come, and it's a really great opportunity to put down in writing everything that we have achieved and really celebrate those. For me, though, fundamentally, what underpins the reason why we continue to enter the awards each and every year is actually all about our people. The pride and the recognition for our teams on the ground that at the end of the day are doing the work each and every day, and seeing the smiles on their faces, just and being able to have them participate in the awards process and collaborating with them, getting their testimonials, getting their stories, it just brings our team together and really does recognise those great moments that our team deliver each and every day. And also for us, having been in it now for quite a long period of time, it does elevate our business, and it really positions us as a reputable business in the tourism industry, not only in the Northern Territory, but on the national sphere. So when I was asked about some tips, and as we're, like you all are, in the middle of writing our submission at the moment, I started to think about what I've learned over 12 plus years, what might be beneficial to share with you all. You've all got the entrance guides, and you've all been probably on different webinars and had different sessions. But for us, the key to writing our submission is actually don't ever assume the judges know your business, right? It's really easy often we all talk in our own sort of business lingo, and we might say bits and pieces, but they don't know our business, right? They might be based in the NT, but they might not know what AAT Kings is. So really don't just assume that they know what you're talking about, and really talk with passion. You know your business better than anyone. You need to bring those stories to life and bring it with passion. And that comes through in the way that you write. You can probably all talk about it and talk about how passionate, but you need to bring that through in your submission, because that's actually really key. The other thing which is key is reviewing all of the judges' feedback. They all take time to give you feedback, both at a state level and if you win a state in a national level, and it's really important to take that on board. What we got last year was some really great feedback saying, you had these questions where you had lots and lots of information, but it all got lost. Why don't you put it in a table? It would have been more succinct and would have been clearer to understand. So taking all of that feedback on board and using it moving forward will really help guide you and position you in a great way for writing your submission. As Chrissy touched on, utilise the entrance guides. They're there for a reason. They give you step-by-step information as to guiding you through the process. Use that with the judges' feedback, and make sure you utilise all of the tools that are on the Brolga's website. The team take a lot of effort to put all of that there, and they're really trying to set you up for success. So make sure you do use those tools. And at the end of the day, it's not a university assignment, right? It's not pressure. Have fun. Grow from the experience. Not everybody can be a winner, but what you can take away each and every year is actually learning something about yourself, learning about the experience, and having the opportunity to collaborate across your teams. Thank you.
Thank you, Jodie. And it's great to hear an entrance perspective, so much appreciated. And now I get to introduce to you another Jodie. So Jodie Summers, who's the chair of judges for the Brolga Awards, and Jodie has also been a national judge as well.
Hi everyone, welcome you here from Mabantua, which is the lands of the Aranda people, and pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. So what I'm here to do today is to give you a bit of a perspective from the judge's point of view. So it was great to hear from an entrance point of view, and I think there might be a little bit of repetition across this, because if you do it well and you win, it's because you've followed a lot of this guidance and the tools and information that Chrissy and the team have put together. So the first cab off the rank, obviously, is just a well-written and clearly presented submission. We really look for succinct answers, so don't feel like you need to use the whole word count. Sometimes the passion and what makes us interested in your business and so forth can be lost if you try to fill the question up with a lot of other information. So as Jodie said earlier, just be really careful to read the question and answer the questions. Sometimes those questions come in two parts, so you need to really make sure that you address both parts of the questions. Something to think about is that judges read these applications question by question, and we judge question by question. There is no points for the overall application, so it's really important to make sure that you've put the information in the correct place. Many times in my experience judging, and I did judge for Brolgas as well prior to being a chair of judges, is sometimes you'll read and score a question, and then several questions later you're reading an answer that's included extra information and thinking that would have been perfect in a previous question. So just being really mindful to read the information that they provide per question, where they give you some tips and advice as to what to include, and maybe go back and make sure you properly review at the end, because that means that it will get someone else to review, probably even better, to make sure that any information that might be put in the wrong place can be aligned into the right area, because we do judge and work through the applications question by question. Consistent writing tone and style. So, we're really, we've got judges have quite a few applications that they're usually reading, and they'll really connect with the applications that flow really well, that are really easy to follow and understand. So making sure that, again, not putting in too much information, make sure you're just answering the questions that are there succinctly. But I really want to highlight the comments that the other Jody said as well about this is your business, and no one is more passionate about your business. So no one is better equipped to express that passion and showcase your business than you are. So while, yes, succinct answers, we really want to feel that passion when reading your business journey and the experiences of your customers and guests. And then we're also looking for evidence of a business that is being well managed, that is financially sound, and hearing the ideas and opportunities that you've taken to enhance your business. And these may or may not be realised completely in that period, but what we'd want to hear, if you're undertaking a strategy or activity that is intended to enhance your business, that you give us the information as to why you're undertaking that strategy. What is it that you're addressing, whether that's an issue or a need, and then what your expected results are, what the outcomes are that you're expecting from that strategy if you do go that way. Next slide, please, Chrissy. Sorry, I'm not steering the ship, I don't think. Often throughout the questions, they're asking you to provide quite specific information and evidence. So making sure that you're providing really clear, measurable and goals, and really articulating what those strategies are and what the outcomes are that you've achieved or intend to achieve, as I said earlier, and making sure that any measurements that you use to measure that success are tangible, so that you can actually qualify and quantify what it is you're saying. We do read a lot of statements in applications that are not substantiated with evidence, and evidence can be testimonials and reviews, or it can be data, hard data. So, it's really important. We can't just decide that your business is amazing and great just because you say it's amazing and great. We're looking for the evidence of that supports that, and that might also be in the form of other awards that you've won, other things that you're participating in, and so forth. Understanding your market share and demonstrating that, so you can really save some paragraphs of writing as well by utilising tables and pie charts and things like that to demonstrate some of that more quantified data and information. So as I said before, giving it lots of examples and quotes. I really enjoy reading the reviews. So even if those reviews are added as an image, images are a great tool within your application, because it can really provide a visual sense of your business to the judges. But just be mindful to ensure that those images are relevant to the questions that you're adding them to. And I'm pretty sure there's an opportunity at the beginning of the applications to add, some of your more what are they called, the glamour shots of your business. So, you know, you could save those for there and then just utilize your image as well throughout your application to support the answers in your applications. One of the things I wanted to talk about too with the data and metrics is that's not the only thing that judges are looking for. We're also trying to get a sense of the culture of your business and your relationship with your staff and team and so forth. So yes, your reviews and the customer experience is really important, but the experience of your staff and team and the culture in your business is always really important also, and really gives a good sense of a really strong business. Again, as we said earlier, flair and passion, this is your business. No one's more passionate about it than you are. So really enabling that to come through in your responses. Demonstration of industry knowledge. So that could be just through highlighting your participation in industry forums and committees and so forth, and what other participation you have within the industry. And also that comes out through your market share analysis and the strategy, you know, the broader strategies that you're applying throughout your application. The target markets and marketing strategies, we often see people get some of these things mixed up. So one thing I did want to highlight is if there's some corporate jargon within the questions or information that you don't quite understand, make sure you ask, Google it, find out what the meaning of that is, rather than skip it or not fully address it. You can, if you don't understand it, make sure you ask. Chrissy's always available for that sort of support and help as well. And yeah, just to substantiate your commitment to responsible tourism. So making sure that your business is that you're showcasing any policies and procedures for managing a sustainable business through, and that might be through environmental, social responsibility activities where you might be doing some things that might actually cost your business, but it's for the greater good of your community. And I think that always enables broader community support for your business as well if they see you doing those types of activities. Your economic sustainability and then your ethical practices. So make sure that you showcase any of the, no matter how big or small. We're not always looking for, you know, some big innovative activity around these things. It can just be all the little things that make those experiences better for you, your team, and the customers. So, yeah, make sure you address all four of those things. And that's me.
Thank you, Jody. So again, I think that, yes, some of it is repeating the information, but it's good to be reminded that these tools are there and what the judges are looking for. Is there any questions from the floor? The one question I was provided in advance, Jody Summers, is there any sort of areas in the submission that the judges sort of find people don't answer so strongly or lose points in?
For me, the main areas are just the not answering the actual questions. So a lot of the, like when they're demonstrating the marketing strategies and so forth, they'll try to write that all out in paragraphs when a simple table could ensure that they don't miss anything. So sometimes they might spend a lot of time writing about the strategies and then not include what the outcomes of those strategies were and things like that. So yeah, I think that's the main thing. And like I said earlier, making sure that the information's in the right place. So I think that overall review really helps to go back and reread the whole application to make sure that, yeah, your information is in the correct places against the questions.
Probably the other... Oh,
sorry.
Go
ahead. I just had a question about the word count. I can't see it in my portal, so there'll be there's a zero, you know, it'll say 0, but it doesn't actually go 0 to, you know, you've got 500 words. So I'm kind of preparing it in Word and hoping to find out what the limits are on the word count, so I don't go putting too much or into the question.
So for all categories, the aim is between the 6,000 to maximum 10,000 words for the whole submission. And as I understand in the portal, once you start typing, there is sort of in the bottom corner of each question, it does give you a bit of a count.
Okay.
A kind of good rule of thumb is if a question is worth sort of 7 points, you should be doing about 700 words. But again, like Jodie was sort of saying, that possibly you're utilising a table in that question and you really are, you know, possibly being very succinct. The 700 is a guide. Where obviously a question that's only worth 4 points, possibly you're going to have less information, etc. So it's not that each question is a certain, you know, number of words.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll just add to that. Yes, we talk about the responses being succinct using tables and so forth. It's also really important not to lose the passion of your business and describing, you know, the description of your business, because answering that first question around the introduction, getting the judges really on board with your business and getting excited about what, you know, the rest of your application is a really important part. So make sure that, yeah, in those introductions that you really showcase what your business is about, and yeah, showcase the passion that you have for that, and this, you know, summarize, I guess, the success of that business.
And that's a good example where 1A is worth a lot more points than 1B and C. So obviously, you know, you really are, you know, talking about the history of your business and your product as such sort of thing, or your event, let's as the other option in 1A, where 1B is a bit more about your strategies, etc. So again, you know, you still need to answer the question to the full length, but 1A probably is where you really put those extra wording into, you know, and show your passion for your business. As well, I guess like all writing, you should have that wow sort of introduction. It's always, you know, yeah,
and
makes the judges go on the journey.
Yeah, absolutely. And the responsible tourism question, it's usually left till last. So a lot of people we do find tend to just be trying to rush it to the end. So we will get really short answers often in that particular question that haven't actually addressed the question. And if people just took a bit more time to make sure they addressed all of the 4 key areas, even if it's just with a short paragraph, they would probably earn more points than not addressing it at all and just trying to get through the end there. So just be mindful to make sure that each question, including the last one, yeah, you put the sort of same amount of effort into addressing the questions.
Thanks, that all makes sense.
Probably the other question, Jodie, as well, is when you're kind of substantiating your claims. And again, we know that the qualifying period is up to the 30th of June. And if there is sort of things that you don't actually have the data yet because the outcomes are not, well, i.e. you're still in season, can you still talk about that information?
Absolutely, yes. And as I said earlier, if that's the case, put in what you do know and then talk about what your expectations are for the outcomes and explain why you've done that. So we're always looking for evidence of, I guess, purposeful strategies and activities. So, you know, you're already aware of what issue or opportunity you're addressing with the strategy, and you have expected outcomes. And so documenting what you have done in the period, and then also documenting what your expectations are for the outcomes of that strategy. But not writing about future strategies, I guess. So those you would not include. It's only if you've already implemented those strategies. You just don't have the outcomes of those as yet because they're still ongoing.
Wonderful.
I have a question over here. I'm just wondering, so I was looking through the question by question like entrance guide, and I did notice that it had sort of like a snippet of I think it's like the question criteria is that snippet, and then it sort of had a bunch of suggested answers and sort of questions that you should include the answers to. I guess I'm wondering, forgive me because I haven't been on the portal before, so I haven't seen what that looks like, but is the actual question criteria that we're going to be marked on, is that first snippet?
Correct. And the reason it's done like that as a snippet is because then it doesn't affect your word count. So that was part of a suggestion. If you're doing it in your Google Word doc, do it as a snippet as the question. So then truly, as you know, typing away, your true word count kind of keeps going if you're giving a guide on where your words are sitting. So, but yes, you're right. Every single question is in the portal, and then you click on the little I button, which also gives you that, you know, guiding information for that question. And don't forget, the judges are looking like you in the portal, the online system. They, you know, open it up and see it with the question at the top and your answer in the box below. So they literally are judging in the same online system.
Yeah, perfect. So they'll literally see sort of that's for the introduction for 1A, it will be that snippet with then you recommended 700 words for the introduction, and then the B and then the C. So it will be exactly like that on the portal.
Correct. And
cool.
yes, it's good to be familiar with the portal, you know, even starting to load some images now, etc., because leaving it to the last minute just causes grey hair. So, you know, and it's good for that point of view of saying the same thing. Oh, no, we are putting that image in there, load it now so I know it's there. Then all you have to do is hyperlink it later on, or as in link it to the image, sorry, not hyperlink it off to, you know, another website. So yeah, those sort of things are, yeah, I think more familiar you are going into the online system, even if you're writing in your Google Doc or Word doc, is, you know, probably key. And probably the other thing as well is don't spend lots and lots of time doing all your formatting, etc., in your Google Word doc. Spend that time once it's in the portal as such sort of thing, making things bold or coloured or that sort of thing. So utilise your time there.
Yeah, and I'll just reiterate that there's often evidence in applications where someone has tried to do all the formatting in Word and then copied it in and not had time to format it in the application, and it doesn't always transfer over the way you've done it in Word. So it can actually skewer the information so that it isn't as clear anymore in the submission. So some of the worst laid out applications, I think, are people who have left it to last minute, made it all pretty in a Word doc, copied and pasted it in, and it just hasn't translated over with the formatting. So making sure you do that formatting in the system, I think, is really important.
And to be honest, there is a user guide because the portal has been doing lots of upgrades. It's currently not via the portal, so I will actually email that to all nominees. And there is actually things like a little user guide in the online system about hyperlinking images, etc. But I will send you something so that it's just easy, it's there. But of course, I'm the human that you can always ring and say, where do I find this, or why is it doing that, or those sort of questions. So probably last of all, any other questions?
I have a quick one. Hi, Chrissy. Hi, everyone. Jodie, just wondering, do the judges prefer us to speak directly to the judges, as in introduce who's writing it and be a bit more personal, or stay third party? I seem to go from one to the other. Like I go I, but then I go down Free Spirit. So what do judges prefer? Like a bit more of a personal connection, or to keep it more blanket, it's the venue?
Yeah, I can only speak personally for me because every judge will be different on this, but I think the main thing is just to be consistent. So we do tend to find that smaller to medium operators will speak more personally about their business and so forth, and they might do, and some of the ones I know that have won have spent a bit of time in the intro really connecting themselves, like creating a personal connection to the judge. So I personally really like that approach. And when we get into some of the more corporate awards, they will tend to be a little bit more aloof and talk to themselves more broadly as an organisation. So I think there is no right or wrong in that, but I just think in the introduction, you've got an opportunity there to personally make a connection with the judge. So why not utilise that? If you're going to be creative and so forth, I would just probably say to make sure that how you do that isn't that you just use it carefully. We've had not here in the territory, but as part of the national awards, I've previously had an application where they've had a really creative intro, but then they used it for the entire application and it kind of wore off. The novelty of it wore off by the end of the application. So if you're going to do some really creative things, then just use those strategically through the application. But otherwise, I think that personal approach is really good.
Yeah, more so just to start it off, I guess. And then to feel that connection throughout the submission. But thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, well, we are at the 10:30 and we wanted to keep it short and sweet. Probably, I guess, I've just put up on the screen a reminder of the diary dates, and the one thing that is probably key for you to all take up is the free draft review mock judging, which is open now up until the 21st of August. And the main reason it is closing on the 21st of August is so that it gives you all enough time to, get your review back and actually then, make some of the changes, use some of the suggestions from the mock review judge. Otherwise, I would like to thank both the Jodies for their entrance and judges' perspective, for you all joining with and asking your questions. But now's not the end. If you have further questions and would like to, give me a call, don't hesitate to do that. Otherwise, I will post this webinar up for future reference for people to review as well. So thank you again for joining the webinar, and talk to you all soon.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.